Yeah. No, this is, I just literally, before I jumped on, filed my piece on this, basically saying, this whole report, I mean, it's 10,000 words or whatever it is, but get about 2,700 words in and you're going to see the crazy, I mean, this is the most serious thing that's ever been accused in terms of, the Patriots and supposed cheating. And to me, you got to understand that every team, and I don't know how versed NFL fans are, but every team has scripted plays, 15 plays, 20 plays to start a game offensively. As reporters, and I know I'm not alone here. I mean, over the years, I've tried to get guys to say, hey, what's the first play? You guys going up top right away, that kind of thing. And, so offenses, they know what's going on. I mean, this is set in stone a couple of days before the game, before you go to play. And if the Patriots, and that's a massive qualifier there, the Patriots were sending in employees to steal that script, the 15, 20 plays or whatever, you're stealing part of the game. That's not, people will say, well, the defensive signal taping is worse. It's not. And the reason why it's not is because you have to understand that to decode the signal taping and then use it, you have to see the signal in the game, and then you have nanoseconds to adjust. You have to get your right personnel out there, guys in the right place. You have really no time. I mean, you have almost no time to take advantage of what you're seeing in front of you. But if you have the first 15 plays of a script, first 20 plays of a script, even if a team goes off script after 5, 6, 7, 8 plays, which happens at times, you still have an opportunity to create a turnover in the first 5, 6, 7, 8 plays of the game.
Absolutely.
If you're good at disguising defenses, you can funnel a ball where you want it. You can, and you have a little bit of time to essentially set what you need in place and to tell your guys, here's what's coming.
Yep.
And that to me is just, at that point, it's not fixing a football game, but you're fixing a series in a way, having that information. I mean, this is like insider trading, insider theft, in the stock market. I mean, this is about as illegal as you can get.
Hey, listen, this is just like years ago, and it was on a different scale with Tim Donaghy in the NBA. Because, again, if he can find a way to get that extra traveling call or to send a guy to a line, which, again, to the foul line, which can move the point spread. I mean, it's not on the same level. It's just apples and oranges, but it's all fruit when you really break it down. And I haven't had a chance to really read all of this. I've just kind of that's why I got you on. I just kind of glossed through a lot of it. But the most alarming part is, and people have to understand, you are allowed back in 2006 to videotape. You couldn't do anything from the sidelines. And I remember the Rams and the Jets even made a stink about this many, many years ago. What is alarming here is this story comes out. We saw what happened with Deflategate, and then Goodell spoke earlier today and basically kind of skirted the issue where, there's no correlation between what happened then and the initial decision to go after the Patriots this year with Deflategate, with the $1 million fine and the draft picks. I guess the question is, from a NFL Roger Goodell standpoint at the moment, then we'll get back to the Pats, how are outsiders now viewing the league and Goodell after this comes out, after the whole Deflategate nonsense?
Well, if you read the report in its totality, I mean, it's linking the two, obviously saying that, Roger Goodell screwed up so badly before the owners and in the Spygate scandal that essentially it frames Deflategate as an overcorrection. You're driving your car on an icy road, you turn the wheel the wrong way, all of a sudden you're sliding and you panic and you turn it all the way the other way and you make it worse. It's exactly what they're saying. They're saying that you turned the wheel the wrong way in Spygate, he overcorrected in Deflategate, and that's how we got, where we got. If it's true, if that's, accurate, it makes the league look bad. But where have we been for months now? I mean, the league it seems every passing week, every passing decision, every passing document dump, I feel like the NFL has only looked worse in this entire thing. And, so maybe this focuses things a little bit more back on the Patriots in an odd way by rehashing, a lot of the maybe nastier details of Spygate that people didn't know. But man, talk about a marriage between the league and a franchise that this has been it's like a game of tennis where it's just back and forth. Who looks worse? This, oh, they look bad. Now we're going to hit a ball. They look bad. And the games just can't start fast enough, because for us to honestly be getting back to the point where we're going into Deflategate again, although, like I said, for this to come out about the stealing of the, if that's true, the stealing of the plays, I mean, that's something to me that I'm like, wow, you stung for deflated balls. There was a sting for deflated balls. The Jets put on a sting for taping signals, but no one at any point decided, hey, rather than quote unquote, creating a fake play sheet, why don't we put a camera up in the locker room and catch one of the attendants or whoever it was lifting these plays? That's a big deal. And it's stunning to me that there's no really, explanation why a team employee or somebody didn't say, hey, you know what, we think they're stealing stuff. Let's catch them. Let's catch them stealing stuff and turn them in.
I think everything that makes it, and I don't want to say more alarming, but years ago, the model franchises, people would look at the Yankees win a World Series, the Spurs winning titles, and hey, you know what? It's going to be the Patriots this year. The irony is the two times they played the Giants, it didn't go in their favor, so Giant fans always take great delight in that. But now you're looking at the Panthers. We know for years, Arlen Specter, the Philadelphia Eagles, a lot of former players always came out begrudging the Patriots for that Super Bowl loss. Now you have the Panthers making comments. Perhaps the Rams are going to start making comments. Who knows what Pete Carroll in Seattle is going to say. I mean, this is not like you can't put asterisks next to these things. You really can't. So you're right. The season can't start soon enough, but I guess every time now I watch a Patriots game, not that I wasn't thinking about it before, but when there's a defensive play or a pick or they line up and they get to formation, everyone who's watching the game now is going to say to them, they know exactly what they're running. I mean, how do you now take this? You can't even look at this franchise and look at them as a model franchise, a winning franchise in the NFL because of all these accusations. You just can't.
I don't. I mean, I think it'll be part of the conversation, forever. Particularly for people outside of that fan base, in the New England area. I mean, I think they're to the point now where it almost seems like the fan base is just like, it's scandal fatigue. They're just like, you know what, everybody's got their tinfoil hats on, and everybody's Oliver Stone creating a new controversy or conspiracy about what we did or didn't do. They won't, I don't think people who follow the Patriots will care, and maybe over a long enough timeline, people really won't care about the, 20 years from now, 30 years from now. A spare few people still talk about the steroid era in the 1970s and in any way how that related to the Steelers' dominance.
Right.
That's just the reality. So, over time, will this wash away? Yeah, probably. But you're right. I mean, now when you watch it in front of you, it's hard at times to look at that record and, read a story like this and kind of know some of the grittier details about exactly how many teams or tapes or, what they had over that number of years during Spygate and go, man, that's, you weren't supposed to be doing it. You did it. It clearly helped you. But it's hard as a reporter then to remember in your mind to go, yeah, at the same time, I can remember watching advanced scouts behind me in the press box with binoculars, furiously scribbling down, personnel groupings while they're watching the signals. And, they were doing the same thing. They just weren't taping it.
Exactly.
So it's not like it's, at least certain portions of that, it's not necessarily new. But like you said, there's a certain malaise that sort of covers all of this now. And I think for people outside of the New England area, it's hard to ever look at that team and feel great about the dominance. Maybe the same way anybody looks at A-Rod now when he does something good. Right. You always think about what happened in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, a couple minutes with senior NFL and investigative reporter for Yahoo, Charles Robinson. Follow him. Great follow on Twitter at Charles Robinson. A couple more minutes. Again, appreciate the time. All right, let's kind of do a quick little wrap around the league. We'll start in our backyard just to appease some of the Tebow fans out there. I mean, look, I don't think this came as a shock, as a surprise. Right. I think it was more of a surprise when Chip Kelly decides to trade Matt Barkley, and then even myself, I got caught into it. We're saying, hey, well, this kind of solidifies Tebow's spot now on the roster as a third quarterback, as an emergency quarterback. No shock here, but how about the fact that really, in essence, the Eagles are going to go into the season with two quarterbacks, and you look at the injury history of Bradford. If that falters, if he gets hurt, they have to rely on Mark Sanchez. What's the national perception right now with Chip Kelly and the Birds?
Well, it's a gamble. Anytime any team nowadays keeps two quarterbacks, it's a big gamble. I mean, we've seen it happen in the past where, I remember the first time I can really remember a team doing it and being surprised, probably back with Shanahan and the Broncos. I think that it's a gamble. I was surprised, as you were, once Barkley was off the roster. I thought, okay, well, this makes sense, but I still can't see how they carry Tebow on game day to, because really, I mean, if he's a 2-point conversion guy, you got to keep, it's got to be active.
Yep.
You got to be using him. So, in some respects, I can kind of see where the staff would look at him and go, really, we're going to carry him every single game day? And what if we don't carry him some games but do others? They're going to, telegraphing what you're doing. You got to carry him all the games, because the ones you don't, and then when you do, they're looking for it. So, it's a calculated risk, but I mean, we've seen from Chip Kelly, he's all about taking calculated risks. So I think he's definitely pushed his chips onto Sam Bradford staying healthy this season. We haven't seen it yet, but, again, I'll tell you this, when they picked up Bradford, I had no shortage of NFL coaches telling me if that guy can only stay healthy, he's going to be in that system. And, if he doesn't stay healthy, how successful is the franchise going to be under Mark Sanchez anyway? I mean, it's probably a 500 team. So, I think it's in line with what Chip does. I mean, that's his calculated risk.
Yeah, and that's the caveat. Anytime you bring up Sam Bradford, talented quarterback, but or if has to stay healthy. Right. That's and until he proves otherwise, except for one season or so with the Rams, then yeah, we're going to have those questions. JPP met with the Giants. It looks like that physical went well, according to some reports. I don't know where they are as far as relationship-wise. And look, that's a tough spot, and it's an embarrassing incident for him. And the fact that he didn't sign with them makes it even more embarrassing.
Right.
I personally, my opinion, I really don't see him playing at all this year. Obviously now, I probably have to change that a little bit. I just thought with the hand being wrapped, not lifting weights, having some atrophy, not under, getting back into Spags' defense. If anything, if they get anything out of him, it's a major plus. I mean, do you see them coming to a resolution? Do you see JPP on the field at all this year for the Giants?
I don't think he has a choice now. I think he knows he has to get on the field. And, prior to this, obviously he wanted the contract extension. He was not happy with the tag. So it's in his best interest now to prove that, he's okay. Once the accident happened and he lost the digit on his hand, and that damage took place, he was then in a position where he couldn't sit out this year because he's not getting a contract otherwise. He has to show that he can be that impact player still and be healthy by the end of this season in order for himself to cash in with that long-term deal. And that's still the number one priority for him, is to show that he's healthy and get a long-term deal. I think they're going to work something out. They're going to be okay. I just don't know, like you said, when he's going to be back on the field. The biggest thing I was told is, hey, you lose a lot of layers of skin on your hand in an accident like that. What's your ability to grip? What's your grip level? And at defensive end, you got to grip sometimes to rip guys, to get by, tackles and, make tackles, pull down a quarterback. I mean, that's a big deal. So, physically, we're all kind of still in the dark guessing at, what exactly his abilities are going to be. But I can tell you this, he knows he has to play this year.
I got about 30 seconds. Last one for you, and I probably should have started off the show with this one, the interview. And I know we'll talk during the season, but I'm just curious, going into this season, what is your biggest storyline in the NFL season? Who are you watching? What team? What player? What's your biggest storyline?
Outside of obviously Dallas and outside of everything that's happening in New England, I think Dallas is a huge storyline. They've gotten overshadowed quite a bit by New England, but just to keep it short, to me, before they let DeMarco Murray go, I think that team was positioned to be the NFC team to finally get over the hump with Seattle and the Packers. I still think they could do that, but the backfield's a big deal. This, to me, could still be Dallas's year. And in any other year that New England didn't have all this stuff going on, we would have been talking about them this whole entire preseason.
You're absolutely right. Well, the Patriots overshadowed. They like to take the back pages. Oh my goodness! Thursday. The irony too. Goodell's not going to be there Thursday. He'll be at the Packers in the Bears game. So that's probably a smart move on his behalf.
Yeah, him being there would be unsafe.
No, you're right. It would, and honestly, there's no point. Sometimes you just got to go away for a little bit, then you have to come out of hiding. So we'll get a chance to get a look at the commish on Sunday with the Packers and the Bears as well. Charles, great stuff. And you said you're working on something right now for Yahoo on the whole Patriot mess and Spygate and everything.
Yeah, yep, that'll be up probably in the next hour or so.
All right, we'll let you get back to work. Appreciate the time as always, my friend.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Rich.
All right, you got it.